Welcome, everyone, to the RUDIS Wrestling Podcast with your host, Matt Dernlan. And today we have some truly special guests, international travelers coming all the way from Russia. We have Anatoly Beloglazov, three-time world champ, Olympic champion, and his son, Alex. Anatoly, welcome. Welcome back to America, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is the second year in a row that you've come back to do, what is the Beleglazov U.S. wrestling tour,
US clinic
right?
Tour, yeah.
Yeah. So you just arrived from Chicago yesterday, and they'll be at Marysville High School tomorrow doing a clinic. So tell me a little bit about your experiences so far here in America, and what is your goal, and what is the goal of your trip here, and what are you looking to do?
We first of all we thanks people who hosting us here, and we very good friends with Nancy Schultz, which is help us a lot with organized the trips, even last year and this trip too. So the goal is just promote wrestling around the world. First thing. Second thing, share our experience because people in USA very like wrestling and they're very keen on wrestling. So it's nice to be here and we have fun when we at the practice mat with the kids with the different level of wrestling. We can see we can share different things. Very interesting to see how they pick it up and very happy to get some experience.
So how is it similar or different than doing clinics or camps in Russia? And how is the experience doing camps and clinics in the United States as opposed to in Russia?
It's very different because USA and Russia is very different because it's different school, a different tradition. But in USA, many kids come into wrestling room for fun. In Russia, it's like if it's camp or a clinic, so it's like kind of um, more professional people coming. They want like get some very good high performance moves. But here, kids like they like high performance moves. They're not able to do many of them, and they have fun. That's a little bit different because that's all age come together in the same room. All age, different kids like from 6 years old and 25 to 30. Of course, it's different experience of wrestling. So they have fun. But the people ask me who is more professional wrestling. They ask me more professional questions, and we ask about some particular move I have to show them. They said, "Oh, we saw that on TV. We saw that Olympic Games or World Cup. And can you show that?" I'm more than happy to do that because it's like a different level of wrestling. For kids, we got same thing, but I can find out right away who can do what right away in the wrestling room because I need just 2 minutes to see ability. So and now I understand for these kids I have this one to make them fun and don't let them injured because they sometimes very dangerous moves. So for that people I can give another one more difficult combination from 2-3 moves combination. So those kids cannot able to do that. So that's all the difference. And all of them wants to wrestle.
Yeah. So I think this is what for me, I'm doing an interview, but really this is something that's always interested me, about the Russian system. Anatoly, you and I were talking about, the different forms of propaganda that are associated, the propaganda we promote about Russia and vice versa. And it's really not real. There's a lot of similarities between our two countries, even though, in the news and the media outlets, we promote different things and different agendas, but there's a lot of similarities. So how are kids introduced, and how are you introduced to the sport of wrestling?
Oh, for let's say like here, and like elite athletes, heroes in this country. So in Russia, the same thing. but we don't have just many commercial things to represent them so much. Media more like like let's say uh, different как сказать, фирмы.
Different brands. In Russia, we
Brands,
don't
like,
have, like
well,
clothing
let's say
brands.
like soccer, they
media.
represent like Naftogaz or
Yeah, in soccer they have big oil companies that
Yeah.
represent them, big contracts, more money,
More sponsored by
Yeah,
by
sponsors. In
companies,
wrestling,
right?
Yeah, in wrestling it's not like
sponsors
that.
just coming up. Sponsors just coming up to the Russian
Now it's just
in
starting,
wrestling. So before it's
starting
like,
sponsorship contracts, very small, but it's
Very
just,
small, yeah.
just beginning.
Here is
See,
like,
that's kind of surprising because I think our impression, in the United States of Russian wrestling is that it's the premier sport.
no,
it's
no,
it's
no,
not.
no. It's football, basketball, track and field, hockey.
Hockey's
Yeah,
big.
it's like
Yeah.
wrestling maybe 6, 7, 8 place because, but very popular. Not everywhere, but especially in Kafkas area, was Dagestan, Chechnya, those in Kafkas area. There is very popular because it's like traditionally popular wrestling there.
Now, are these all like when you're introduced? Are these all the sports, the big sports, all the way down to wrestling, are sponsored by the state and the government, or how is that run? How is the sports system and the sports academies run in Russia?
Yeah, we got Olympic Committee, of course, with the government money give to the sport, and also we got private clubs. So we got now, as I said before, we got sponsors for clubs, people who, let's say, in USA, same thing. Private club just start here in USA. I heard like not too many of them. This not
No, they have.
they
You guys
have.
have private clubs, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just recently started because in Russia, same thing. You got people who like wrestling, you want to put some money in a private club. That's okay.
Но он спрашивает, тут другие виды спорта тоже имеют такие вот школы, там интернаты те же, да?
Да. No, вот один,
Детский спорт спонсируется
let's say
государством.
example, sport internet. We got sport internet system, internet. So people live there, like kids
It's like a
live there.
sporting school.
Sporting school. They
We have
live there.
sporting schools.
Gotcha.
Government sporting
Yes,
schools.
it's
Okay.
government sponsored.
Yeah.
Да. Они живут там, они питаются, они тренируются и учатся там.
Yeah, so we have the government schools. The kids go there to learn like education. They live in that school. They eat in that school. Basically, they train in that school. So everything is done in one place.
Они даже
Okay.
не ходят никуда.
They don't go anywhere,
всё
and they're always under
convenient.
control of coaches, and everything's really convenient. And every sport has that.
Now how does that work? Are you selected? Do you apply, or how are you?
They're selected.
Do you get to
yeah.
choose
You
your
can
sport,
apply,
or
you can
does
apply. Yeah.
yeah?
Some the coaches work there. Coaches very experienced. It's like high level coaches work there, so they select them.
So do you have to audition, or like how is that procedure? How are
Как
you
попасть?
actually selected by the
Как
coaches?
попасть?
Окей,
туда.
он, например, боролся на чемпионате стейт, области,
Okay.
выиграл. Уже на него внимание есть, уже его взяли на заметку, за ним наблюдают. Он выиграл там чемпионат на чемпионате России, стал nationals там 5-м, 10-м, уже можно говорить.
So basically, the young wrestlers they wrestle like you have state championships. We also have that. He
City
places
championships,
city
state,
championships,
different
states. There's different levels,
steps.
yeah.
Okay.
And if the kid wrestles, say he wins his city championships, then he goes to the state. He places, there. Then he goes to the nationals and he places, top 3. So coaches they start looking at him once he wins his own city or place at the state. They start looking at him and they lead this guy to a certain time when he's wrestling like cadet nationals. He's placing, and then they come up to him, come up to the parents, and say, "Hey, do you want your kid to be in our?" It's like a recruiting in universities.
Okay.
Similar. So they ask the parents, ask the kid, "Do you want to go here, study here, live here, train here, and do everything?"
Просто, как правило,
Under
они в
here.
больших городах находятся.
And most of the time, these schools are based in big cities.
Big
So
cities.
Moscow,
So some kids
St.
from another
Petersburg.
city, small city, coming
so they get 'em
have
from-
to place to live. So
And
Okay.
this is absolutely free. That's the whole main difference from US, where
Yeah.
you go to university and if you do not get a scholarship, you're paying big money. In Russia, we don't have payments. It's everyone who is really pretty good will get a scholarship. Like you call it a scholarship,
Right.
but it's it's a fund.
But you're selected, and then once
selected.
you're selected, you're
Yeah.
you're funded.
Yeah, you're funded. You're fully funded. So you're living there, eating. You're going to tournaments. Everything's paid for. So, and once you're selected, it's a big deal. People start looking at you, and you're getting more attention. Sometimes the media comes into the school. Do whatever video shoots and all that. So, yeah, those schools are big. They have a lot of athletes. Сколько может в школе быть?
Ну, там где-то в Дагестане там по 300 человек.
Yeah, so like for example in Dagestan, a school like that, they can have like 300 wrestlers there.
And it's just a wrestling. It's a wrestling school,
program.
a wrestling
Just a
institution.
Just
Yes.
wrestling.
Okay.
Yes.
Plus, they have also sporting schools where they're all sports.
All sports.
So
yeah.
basketball,
All sports. There too.
soccer, athletics, they all live in the same venue. In Dagestan, it's most about wrestling, so they have only sporting, wrestling schools, and they're really, really big.
So typically, when does that selection process start? What age?
What age? Like 12, 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you and Sergey, when were you both selected? And take me through that process.
Okay.
Did you share a similar journey together? Did you travel side by side along the way? Were you?
Yeah.
And so share with us about you and your brother's story and how you were selected and what school you went to.
We played soccer before the wrestling. Like at age 10, we played soccer for 4 years, and we start wrestling. Just nobody else even called. Я шел мимо этого борцовского зала в подвале, посмотрел, там борьба, и тренер говорит: давай, заходи. Случайно абсолютно.
Okay, so they started playing soccer they played about for 3-4 years, and around age 10, my dad was just walking along
После тренировки
from
футбола.
the soccer practice and going home, and he saw there was a wrestling gym in the basement, and they had small windows. So he looked inside to see what are those guys doing there, because he didn't even know what wrestling was about.
Yeah.
So
Accidentally,
he just looked in the window, and then the coach,
my coach said me, come on in.
come on in.
Yeah.
What are you looking? What are you doing there? Just go around the building. Come on in.
And you'd never been exposed to wrestling before?
Never
seen
see that before. And I came in the wrestling room and said, guys are doing like a roll forward. It's like
Forward rolls.
to me it's like very simple, because I'm growing in the street, so we do it like in the asphalt.
Yeah, on the pavement. I can do that on the pavement when he's from the street.
Yeah.
So.
It's very mud. It's mud there, very soft.
So I get to roll around in the soft mat?
can you do
Yeah, that
this?
sounds like a good deal as opposed to rolling around in the
The
streets,
coach
right?
asked me, can you do this? I said, easy, yeah, do this or not. You want to wrestle? I say, yeah, maybe tomorrow I bring my brother here. So I bring my brother, Sergey, next day. And we start wrestling.
So what was your first impressions? Were you like,
I have kids, lots of kids the same weight class was there. Because у нас wrestling room был, скажем, маленький совсем.
Oh, so that wrestling room where he saw all this, it was really had very low ceilings.
Very so.
So they selected really small guys.
Yeah, we cannot touch the ceiling.
So they
Cannot
cannot
throw there.
touch
It's
the
like
ceiling.
and Granit
Because it was a
Toropin,
basement. So.
my coach Granit Toropin, he lives now in Boston, and he said, "Oh, okay, guys, come on in together next day." So we come in together next day. And that we start practice.
and did you immediately enjoy it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
We enjoyed
loved it.
Guys, same age, same weight class. We enjoy it. We start, oh, good. And we start wrestle there. So, and Granit find out we do another sport, soccer. So we do for 2 years soccer and wrestling, same time. And he said to us, hey, guys, we got to pick one, wrestling or soccer. Because it's like, we come to wrestling after soccer. Play soccer 40 hours. And come to wrestling, it's like, for kids like 10 years old, нагрузка сумасшедшая, скажи.
It's difficult. Well, in US they do it. They do the wrestling and then go to baseball practice. I mean, it's normal. But at that age, he said it's very difficult to do intensive wrestling practice and then go to a soccer practice all on the same day. So the coach said you got to choose.
Потому что у нас не начинает просто так рано.
Because in Russia, they don't start wrestling
Like
as
5, 6
early
years old. No.
like as they do it here. You know, when they go at 5, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. Yeah, we don't have that. I mean,
Yeah.
wrestling starts, serious wrestling starts. You know,
Up to now, we're not like
11,
we have
12
kids
years
like
old.
6, 7 years old in the room.
Yeah.
Up to now.
And like once you get in, are you like high level training right away? Are you totally immersed,
no.
or
We're just playing their games. We're playing different, doing some very simple moves, and so we just worried about our coach worried about the health because like you can get injured, you got no experience. So we're just playing games, lots of different games, and start doing drills.
is it more like teaching body awareness, similar to like teaching
how we
it,
feel down,
yeah, how to fall, how to roll, how to like,
exactly. Like about 1 year, we didn't wrestle. You're not allowed to wrestle us because like, and after that we just start step by step, pick up some moves, and now we feel it. Some competition, beginners competition. We got beginners competition, guys who has no experience. So we got that competition.
So it was a full year before you actually did like actual wrestling.
Yeah. And soon we find out we can do much better than everybody else. So Sergey win competitions, beginners, very easy. Our coach put us 2 weight classes up. And he said, guys, it's not interesting for you. You're already good for those guys who's bigger, stronger. And we start using technique because this guy's bigger and stronger. And that's why we becomes much better very quickly.
So after that first year, once you learn your body awareness and learn how to fall in the different, what type of wrestling skills are introduced to you first? Because I know in America we have, maybe 6 or 7 things, like core things that we try and introduce to our young wrestlers, like fundamental techniques that we call them, like basic techniques that you need to learn. How is wrestling and how is like the teaching or the curriculum introduced then? Like, does that make sense?
That makes
like,
sense, yeah.
What are like after that first year? How do they introduce different techniques, and what techniques are introduced?
Вот год прошел, он
Ну,
показал
во-первых,
нам, как
да, уже через буквально полгода нам уже стало это неинтересно. И он понял, что our coach said, look at us and watch. He can see, because he's very experienced, he can see we losing interest. I said, oh, guys, you need more difficult technique. So he gave us more difficult
что он
technique.
говорит, на что вы спрашиваете, что вот допустим, вот полгода прошло, год, неважно, как он вводит, какие приемы, сколько показывает,
Ой,
что
есть много есть, скажите, приемов есть очень много.
Okay,
Очень много.
So he says that he shows the basics, of course, like in US, but they give a lot more. So there's like we said thousands, maybe not thousands.
Как я говорю, вот мы пошли, последний клик, у нас была последняя клика. Там 2 парня были, которые тренируются в другом клубе. И сразу видно, что они much better than everybody else. Вот
Да.
скажи. И я им дал совсем другое.
Okay, so in the last clinic, just an example, he said, in Chicago.
High school guys was there, and 2 guys was from another club. And I can see right away, these guys much better than everybody else. Если я буду делать ту программу, которую вы для этих, им будет
So he
неинтересно.
said if I showed the same program for everyone in that clinic last time, those 2 guys won't be interested because they have overgrown. Yeah, they have overgrown. I mean, they're the same age, but physically,
Они тренируются в
mentally,
другом клубе.
they
technically,
overgrown those guys, and technically,
they're I can see right away.
And he says
Technically much better than everybody else.
So
for them, it's different program.
So it's very individualized at a young age.
Yes.
As soon as they know the coach selects and
Yeah, but for example, our coach have like maybe 5 groups, different age, like say 10 years old, 13, 14, 15. And if you're better here, they move you up another group. So
okay,
one high performance group. So you step by step you go there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think in America how that differs a little bit. Like if it's recognized that you have advanced skills, usually that's where like our camp and our clinic system, you seek out like higher level teaching. And it seems like in Russia, it's like you're still learning in the same center, but different talent levels are segmented within your gym or within your school.
Yeah.
So in our school, we got same different age, different time for practice, but the high performance group coming at the evening. So all best guys is there, so we can give sparring live. We like don't worry about injury because they're ready for that. But here in the clinic, one guy like 5 years old said to me, I say, how long you wrestle? He said, I just first time I'm here in the wrestling room. Do we wrestle live today? I say,
Yeah, they just want to. That's the kids. They always just want to get after. They're like
live.
most of the kids. Like they don't care about learning. They just want to start.
And when they said these kids start wrestle live, they hit each other a little bit. They start crying, And they said, then I enjoy it. Because at this age, you cannot give them wrestle life a lot because it's not ready, not physically, not mentally, not ready at all.
The weird thing is that even parents, sometimes come and say, they're going to wrestle live. And my dad says, hey, the guy's 6. What do you mean he's going to wrestle live? He doesn't know how to do, a double leg or a fireman's carry, just simple moves. And even parents ask, it's not sometimes, often.
All the time.
All the time. In US, especially.
That's a big difference here.
That's
Very
a big difference. Parents in
we're
Russia
afraid.
don't
In
ask.
Russia, we're afraid to push kids because it's not that sport. Wrestling is not that sport when you can push. If you cannot do it, you cannot push them. And just forget about wrestling. Just you in Russian, you can come still to wrestling room. You practice for fun. Nothing wrong with that. It's okay. It's like a lot of people do that.
So your parents, yeah. I mean, we have a conversation. With Ben Askren. We do our podcast. We talk about how hands-on parents are. Were your once you are selected by the school, are your parents separated, or they just hand you over? And like when it comes to wrestling,
my parents never involved in sport at all. My parents never see even my one match in competition.
Never,
because they very after Second World War. They came to the Kaliningrad and they started working. Like my mother lived without parents, and father come from another city, so they meet each other in Kaliningrad. So they start working there, and they're not thinking about sport. A sport like it was развлечение, a recreational thing. They think sport, sport.
Did they think it was silly? Like it was like
just recreationally. It wasn't. Parents thought it was not serious. People don't do sports for a serious reason.
Right.
They said it's like, why you go there? We work very hard there. Why you go there? Just we'll go work some factory, make some money. We come there for free and you enjoy it. I said, yeah, we enjoy it because we love it.
So once it was recognized that you and Sergey had an elite level talent and had the ability to probably compete at a very high level, how was that introduced to your parents? Was that a tough sell to them? Or
они читают газеты, читали, смотрели по телевизору, говорят, а мы не верим, говорит, в этом. Когда я стал первым чемпионом мира по юниорам.
When he became a world junior champion, his father, he bought a newspaper and he saw, his picture there and it says, world junior champion. So he brought it home and he came up to him and says, hey, is this true or what? Is this you or is this a mistake in the newspaper? My dad says, yeah, this is true. I wrestle. So basically they had no idea, they knew that they're going to wrestling practice, but they didn't know what wrestling practice is, what is it for, what are they doing there? They had no idea. They just knew that, they go there and they come back.
Один раз мама пришла, посмотрела, были соревнования в парке, на открытом воздухе. И мы там бросали показательные. Шоу, детство шоу. И Серега меня бросил, так упал, знаешь, на мост бросают на голову. Он говорит, ты чуть себе шею не сломал, вы что там делаете?
Okay, so one day they had an exhibition, wrestling exhibition in the local park.
Мы с Сергеем
показывали. Him and Sergey were just doing, some moves to show people what wrestling's about in the park, and the coach was there, and his mother came.
For the people,
and she looked at it, and my dad threw Sergey, and he put him on the bridge position, and his mom said, hey, You almost broke his neck. What are you doing, guys? Come on, stop doing that stuff. Go home. It's like, so she was, for her that was the only time she saw, wrestling. That was.
She thought you were fighting, like fighting against each other.
No, он спросил, вот когда школу. I'll go back to your question when you said when the kids get accepted to that school, do parents, still involved or not? Он спрашивает, когда в школу вот принимают в интернат, родители все равно еще как-то там что-то делают в школе, или они полностью отходят и он уже там.
Не, они ничего, учатся как в обычной школе. Это как обычная
школа. Мешают, не мешают.
Нет, это чисто по желанию. Кто хочет идет, кто хочет не идет. А никто там не это самое.
Okay, so he says the parents, once you're accepted in that sporting school, the parents usually they don't interfere. So I mean they can come, to some practices, watch, but they don't.
Some of them, yes, said, I don't want my kid go there.
Yeah, some kids. Too. Yeah, some parents.
Happen too.
Yeah. So the kid gets infected.
Они говорят так, я хочу, чтобы мой сын ходил просто for fun, тренировался для фигуры, и чтобы был здоровый, все.
So sometimes they get accepted, they go there for 2-3 months, and the kids say, I don't want to do this, it's not for me. Or the parents say, it's too hard for him, can he just come here and, train for fun? So it happens. It's not, not everyone just, gets to the school and, stays there for the whole time. Some people try it for 2-3 months and say, hey, this is too difficult, just because you're away from home. So.
Но они получают, видишь, они после этого они идут в этот училище Олимпийского резерва, у нас такое есть. Вот это.
Okay,
вот сейчас они.
So after this sporting school, сколько там в школе они?
Они учатся там где-то 4-5 лет.
В школе? В спорт-интернате?
High school заканчивают.
Okay, so in the sporting school, they go there for approximately 4 or 5 years, like it's like a high school.
Like a high school.
Okay.
They finish that and they move maybe sport academy.
Yeah. So the next step is
take
sport.
Them because
sport
they got already experience in sport.
Okay.
And maybe they got like как называется, техникум, чуть меньше, чем академия.
Техникум, не знаю.
Like college, university, let's say, like college, right?
Yeah. So what is better, college or university? University is considered better here?
That's kind of an interchangeable term. College and universities in America is kind of the same thing. It's college and universities age group from like 18 to 22. High school is like 14 to 18. And then junior high, elementary is our schooling system. So elementary is like up until like 10 years old, 11. And then you go to junior high for like your 11, 12, 13 years old. And then high school would be 14 through 18. And then universities would be, after 18 and beyond. So how's the school system in?
Oh, is there? If they finish that sport internat, they easy can go to the sport academy, like sport academy. You can practice there too, and they sponsor him to go some competitions and like let's say university world games. And sport academy is high, it's like university. Sport university. So maybe you becomes not world champion, but you get good education. You becomes a good wrestling coach, or physical education teacher. Okay, so the people это хорошо, если он туда идет.
So college and university in Russia, it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like here. So
it's like university
college
here, college right
is
there.
something in between.
So you gotta go.
Okay.
Yeah, college is something between when you finish high school and you're not still going to university. It's something in between university and high school. We have a middle section there.
What years would that be?
That would be about when you finish high school, like 17,
18, 17, 18.
Yeah. So 17, 18, you can go to a college, and that's only 2 years, or you can go to the university, which is at least 4 years of education.
Yeah. Okay.
Some kids choose college. They get, a two-year education, and then they want to do, wrestling for full time. They don't go to university.
Okay.
They do have that. Some kids want to go 2 years of college, and then they might go for another 4 years of university. So it depends, it depends what you choose.
Почему университет хорошо? Там хорошие facility.
Yeah, university has the best facilities. So,
okay.
Big more opportunities.
Now, are there sports universities where you also get an education? And are there
Yes.
are there like universities that specialize in certain forms of education, like engineering or
Yeah,
business?
it's a different
Like
one.
so, totally separate.
So totally separate.
So when you
only sport university, like sport institute, you can go there. Like it's called now sport academy.
okay,
So if you go there, you only sport. You professionals will be only sport. You'll be physical education teacher or sport manager or sport scientist
Yeah.
or спортивный организатор мероприятий, как называется. Just sport.
Like a sporting organization.
Or professional coach. You can be professional level of coach.
So there's 5-6 professions we can get out of that
different
sporting
one.
academy. You cannot become an engineer. I mean,
Okay.
it's impossible
Yeah.
because they teach you everything about
For-
so similar like the
nutrition, health, everything.
like the two individuals that come to my mind, the Klitschko's.
Yeah.
Klitschko.
They have their doctorate, right? They're both
Yeah.
doctors, but
Yeah.
they went to sports academies, right?
Yes.
More sports universities,
That's
Yes.
it.
and
Exactly.
so they got their doctorate in sports. Is that
exactly.
okay?
Same thing. You can
Okay.
do there. Yes. That's
And so not
another
only
opportunity.
so as they were boxing, they were also, in the classroom, in the actual classroom, they were
Yeah.
learning some form a specialization in sports.
Exactly.
And is that what you and Sergey did?
Yeah.
Так.
And what university
We
did you go
finish
to?
Краснодарский, сейчас called Sport Academy.
It's in Krasnodar Sporting Academy. It's not in Kaliningrad where they were born
Yeah.
because they don't have in Kaliningrad this type of academy. So they had to move to another city.
But we wrestled,
it's bigger.
we've been a national team, and for national team, they give, как называется, отпуска, допустим, мы взяли на год, как у них здесь называется.
Yeah, so
Перед Олимпийскими, чтобы подготовиться хорошо к Олимпиаде.
So before the Olympic year, you have the system called redshirt, where you can take the redshirt year and you're just
Same thing
You're
like here.
either-
Yeah, we would do
Yeah.
similar
Yeah,
things
same,
here.
yeah.
Same
So
way.
they did that. They trained for the Olympics. They didn't do study before the Olympics. So 1 year they basically just trained and prepared for the Olympics.
Which is similar, like we're coming up to 2020. So we have a lot of like a Yanni.
Yeah.
Yanni had just won the U.S. Nationals, and he's going into his third year of college. But there's discussion like he or a Spencer Lee, I'm sure you guys are familiar with those names, they can take an Olympic year where they don't lose their college eligibility. They
Yes.
can still come back and
Yeah,
compete, but
Exactly.
they take a hiatus or a break
Same
from
thing.
school, and they just totally focus on making that.
That's
Same
what they
thing,
did.
exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
And
what
we
they did.
come back after Olympic Games and we finish university, got education.
So that would have been in 1979. You took your redshirt year, your Olympic year.
We finished one in 80, because мы поступили раньше гораздо до Олимпийских.
Ну, говорит, ты взял отпуск когда в 79-м до Олимпиады?
Да.
Yeah,
он-
1979.
И потом, in Russia, ты не можешь быть high performance coach без образования, без этого диплома. Ты не можешь работать.
Yeah, so he said in Russia, you cannot become a high performance coach without the education,
You
that
cannot.
you get from the sporting
It's
academy.
illegal.
You have to get a certain
You have to.
degree.
It's illegal.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
You have to finish
Okay.
the sporting academy to become a coach, not only in wrestling, all sports in Russia. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Wrestling, soccer,
Yeah.
basketball. If you,
And does that at any age level, or to teach to coach at a certain age category, do you have to earn
Нет,
a certain degree?
ты можешь закончить это самое, просто закончить университет и быть преподавателем в школе физкультуры.
okay, so you can finish college, university, and just become a phys ed teacher in high school.
In high
That's
school.
no problem.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
If you wanna be a coach.
high elite
Okay.
coach,
Yeah.
if you want to be, a high level coach and coach national team members, world team members, you have to have that sporting academy education.
Yeah.
If you don't have it,
Потому что
you're not be a part of national team
Here-
coaching staff.
here is different. Here is like people, sometimes they coaching high school. They got no diploma at all. It's
Yeah,
like,
they just want to coach wrestling.
Yeah,
and say I want to. Yeah, it's almost like I like the sport of wrestling. I can coach. Yeah,
that's
but
what
it- and-
surprised me because it's so dangerous. I mean,
Yeah.
some coaches never wrestle. They said,
Right.
"Oh, we play American football."
right.
It's like
That-
attack there, single touchdown.
Yeah, you're not qualified, right? Like
Yeah,
you're,
it's like in Russians,
yeah.
it's Russians. It's It's impossible.
Right. Now, over here in college, like all of our college coaches, they've earned a degree. But that's the thing. Most you in America, you can choose what you want to study. As you practice your sport and compete in your sport, you have the opportunity to choose whatever major you want to. So it's not a specialized sports major.
Да, потому что у нас университеты эти, они отдельно. Инженерный институт отдельно.
Yeah.
Это другое.
In Russia, they're separate. So
If you want to be
engineering is-
engineer, you go.
if you want to be, if you
different-
decided to be an engineer, you go to the engineering university.
Yeah.
Now, does that follow a similar track? Like, if you want to be an engineer, how are your abilities recognized and singled out, and how are you directed to like an engineering school or a business school? Do you have that choice, or is it similar to like your sport? Your talents are recognized, and you're directed to a sports academy. Is it a similar way with your academic abilities?
Он спрашивает.
Your academic abilities are recognized, and you're steered towards a certain university?
Он спрашивает, вот если, допустим, ты хочешь быть инженером, да, такой же отбор приблизительно, они смотрят твой талант, там, твои знания,
Нет.
или
нет,
как это?
нет.
То есть это не так, как в спорте,
Нет,
да?
нет, вообще
No,
не
it's
так.
totally different.
Ты
It's
хочешь
not
быть
the same
инженером,
way.
ты идешь в инженер. Если ты не закончишь это, ты не будешь инженером.
Yeah.
Вот и все.
So it's not the same. They don't lead they don't look at your talent. They look at your grades, of course. You have to be enrolled to the university, and they look at your grades. But in sports, they start leading you from a young age, and
У нас
and they lead you, from like age 9, 10 and towards, up to 19, 20. So you're always watched for, 7, 8 years. You're watched by coaches,
У нас, знаешь,
national team coaches. In universities like engineering, for example, that no one watches you until you come in and take the test for getting enrolled to university.
экзамены везде, да.
Yeah,
Ты не
just
можешь-
do an
Первое.
exam, you're enrolled, you're in. That's
У нас есть такой, называется, день открытых дверей, называется, день. Дают open doors. Ну, это день называется, там, неделя. Ты можешь прийти в любой университет, походить, посмотреть, если тебе нравится, там, будь
it. Yeah, I think
учиться
they
там.
have that here.
Да, и,
Yeah, so
как правило,
they have for non-sporting academies, universities, they have like a 1 week, they call it open doors week. So basically, if I want to become a scientist, I go to the universities, and they have like a week of open doors. So I can walk around the university, meet the professors there,
people, talk
talk
to
to them
them.
and say, I'm thinking of going to your school
Okay.
next year. So
Same thing in the sport academy. It's open door. People come in there. You never be involved in sport. Ты можешь
Yeah.
никогда не был спортсменом, ты можешь учиться в
yes,
спортинституте.
sports academies also have open doors. And for example, I mean, I'm not involved in sports, for example, but I can go to a sporting academy
Ты
and have a
будешь,
look.
Oh, okay.
ты закончишь и будешь
Yeah.
хороший учитель физкультуры.
Yeah. So
Now, can you go to a sporting academy and specialize in like I want to be an athletic trainer?
Yeah,
yes,
you can do that.
you
You can do that.
Yes, yeah.
You can do
У нас есть разные факультеты для этого. Ты можешь...
Yes.
And is there a sports specialty for your athletic trainers, or do they treat all different
Нет,
athletes?
спешлые тренеры, да. Есть
Special.
факультеты есть. Факультеты есть.
different faculties. Yeah.
Тренерский факультет,
So there's a coaching
sport organization
department,
faculty.
then a sports management department.
Yeah,
So they're all
different. So you
departments. So
pick whatever you
you
like.
pick and
Okay.
you say, I
Yeah.
want to be a sports manager. So
Yeah.
you'll be
So
studying
много-
for the next
like-
4 or 5 years just sports management. Or if I want to be, I'm going to be a physical education teacher. There's a
And
different
so
department.
your education is a very, I would, if it makes sense, a very narrow track. That's all you study. Like in America, if you want to specialize in a certain degree, you still take. If I want to be a business teacher, a major in business, I still take some English courses, some science courses, some mathematics courses. But in Russia, is it more you're just studying this certain field, this specific field?
Тренер, смотри, тренер, вот я, например, у нас там спортивная медицина, биология, история спорта. Мы это все изучаем.
Yes.
I be the wrestling coach, but I study
Sport
biology,
medicine.
sport medicine, history of sport. I study many different things.
But only towards sports.
Yeah.
So all the specialties surrounding
Yes,
your
yes,
specific
Yes,
area
yes,
of interest.
Yes.
Okay.
And we become when you wanna be, I'm finished university. You wanna be very high performance coach. So, я могу повышать свое мастерство как тренер. И я поступаю в высшую школу тренеров. Есть такая высшая школа тренеров в Москве.
Okay.
Она поступает.
So now in Moscow, they opened like after university, if you want to.
Она давно
So
уже
you get a
существует.
university degree in sports management, sports coaching, doesn't matter.
You want to improve.
And if you want to improve, you can improve that degree to another level. And now in Moscow, they opened like a coaching institute. So basically, you're
All
already
sports there.
Yeah, all sports. Basically,
Yeah.
you're already a
It's
qualified.
more high.
Yeah, you're a qualified
So
coach.
it's next
but,
step from
But yeah,
high-
but
high
if
performance
you want to
Okay.
coach a professional
very
team,
high.
Okay.
if you want to coach a professional team after university, you go there for another 2-3 years, and you'll get a degree as a coaching professional. So you can coach any national team, any big club, big soccer club, any
You're more
ice
experienced.
hockey,
You're more
more
experienced coach.
experience. So
More experienced
university degree, yeah, it's good, but if you want to become a really top level coach, you'd probably have to spend another 2-3 years going to that institute of coaching.
У нас
See, that's a little different in America. A lot of our coaches they become coaches based on their athletic credentials. Like they accomplish certain things on the mat,
Yeah,
and
у
then
нас
therefore
есть
they get
сpontaneous
certain
stuff.
coaching positions. But in Russia, you actually have to earn your degree, right?
Да.
You earn
Yeah,
your
but-
specialty.
Нет, смотри, он говорит, что ты здесь у них он поборолся
Understand.
на каком-то уровне, медаль выиграл, и он уже тренер, понимаешь?
Мгм.
У вас, говорит, даже если ты боролся, не означает, что ты можешь
Нет.
стать хорошим тренером.
Нет, конечно.
Yeah, he said in Russia, it's totally different. You cannot,
У нас есть тренеры, которые никогда не боролись. Вот Сатива тренер.
yeah.
Первый
So, for
тренер.
example, Saitev's coach,
People never
he
wrestle.
never wrestled, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he,
And
finished all the levels of coaching.
Но у нас
Really?
какая проблема? Вот такие тренеры, они доводят до какого-то уровня. Вот первый тренер Сатива, он довел до какого-то уровня. Больше он ему дать не может. И он отдал его Медиашвили.
Okay, so the first coach of Saitev's brothers, he basically never wrestled. He went he got his coaching degree. He went to the Institute of Coaches. He finished everything, and he gave the Saitev brothers a certain level
Certain
of
level.
wrestling, of coaching that he could give.
Okay.
And then he knew that he cannot give any more, and he gave him away
He
to
sent to the
another
Krasnoyarsk,
qualified,
another
and he sent them
sports
to
school,
Siberia.
where it's very high performance coaches work.
Okay.
And that Saitev grew up. But it's in Russia, it's very often happen there. Some coach come to me and said, Anatoly, I got a guy, very talented, but I work with the young kids. I cannot travel a lot because I work at home. So kids there, sports school, so we're there. So I not travel a lot, so I got lots of kids. But then a couple of guys who is very good. Can I send it to your club for practice? Say, sure. That's what the selection happened. So they come to my place, we watch them, we select them, we see ability. Maybe from 5, maybe 2, 3, will stay. Those guys come back home. So they're not able to.
And did you and Sergey follow a similar path? Did
No,
you
we-
have coaches that passed you off
No, we stay with same coach all life.
your whole competitive career?
Yes, because he was very professional coach.
He had achieved the highest
Yes,
level.
he coach young kids, but he pay attention to us, like travel with us a lot in the national camps, and one coach we got.
So even when you were competing at the World Championships and Olympics, was your coach at these competitions as well? Or how does that work?
How's work? I sure how's work. I tell you, like we got like national team coach. You can come in your personal coach. They invite you in a camp, but when the team goes outside, let's say to USA World Cup, so we cannot bring like 20 coaches there. Only coaching staff for national team go there.
Okay.
Yeah, he stays home. So
Now for your national teams, many times in America, our national teams and all of our elite wrestlers
yeah.
congregate to one area and train together. Do you guys do similar things in Russia?
Yes. Yeah.
Сборы также у них вот они They probably Colorado Springs. They go there.
Yeah, a lot of times in Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
That's our Olympic training
I've
center.
been there, yeah, I've been there.
Спрашивают про ваших борцов. Если у вас тоже так же там, получается, сборы вы проводите, перед этим собираются все в каком-то месте определенном,
конечно.
в разных местах происходит, или в одном и том же, как это?
В разных местах. We got different, у нас базы есть. Разные базы есть в разных регионах.
Сколько их?
Ну, есть база Среднегорья, есть база ровная на равнине, потому что в Среднегорье тренироваться и на высоте разница большая.
Okay.
Это different подготовка.
Okay, so yes, they do gather. You know, they have the training camps, national training camps, national team training camps before, you know, big competitions, and they have these training centers all over Russia. There's probably about
five of them,
or six of them.
Big
ones, like in Colorado Springs, but just there's like 5 or
Similar.
6, and they're located on different levels of. So some of them are in the mountains, some of them are like, you know, in the
altitude. You know, practice in altitude is different for condition.
Yeah.
Like let's say на равнине совсем другое.
So do you rotate to these specific, like these 5 locations? If you're looking for a specific thing, you go to this place and then that place. Yeah. And how is that laid out? How is that chosen? How do you rotate once you get in? And is that just for the elite national team members, or, you know, like in America anymore? Anybody can come?
No, not like this.
No.
Well, first of all, like coaches, like big person in the camp. Let's say he's my coach. You the head coach national team. So let's say, for example, he's my coach, and I come to prepare for World Championship or for Olympic Games. Let's say my coach tell me one thing, you tell me another thing. You control the results. Will be you in charge for results. Okay. So we came to the camp. My coach said, "Oh, don't do this. Don't do this. Take it easy. You know, don't do this. Don't listen to him." That's problem. Okay. So that I got that problem in Canada, where we prepare for Olympic Games. And head coach wanted me to do this, but certain coach came to the camp, personal coach, and said, "No, guys, don't listen to him. Doing this." I say, "Hey," I was there. I said, "Guys, we gotta sit together. We gotta talk. Coaches meeting." We call coaches meeting. I say, "Guys, it's not gonna work like this. We gotta sit together, make program for everybody the same, because it's not the time to." But the argument, the personal coach said, "Oh, you know what, Anatoly, I know my guy better than him." I said, "No, guys, it's not gonna work like this. They got no head coach." I said, "Guys, you gotta be one person who will be in charge, but he gotta be professional person, because some of them wrestle very low level, and they think it's enough for to be there. You know, it's impossible." I said, "Guys, it's not gonna work like this. We gotta sit together and talk. We gotta make a program, because guys come to national camp, last camp before Olympic Games. They come in different conditions. We cannot go like everybody the same thing. I'm come to the wrestling room. I'm ready for 99%.
Right.
I just for 2 weeks you cannot pick up new conditions like very high level for 2 weeks. You just develop nothing new. Just doing like drills and be the good shape. No injuries, good shape, как называется подводка у нас. Подвести на грамотно.
So to get in Russia, you have a very clear understanding about how that works and how that's broken up and how you specialize and get prepared.
Yes, we sit together, make a program, like very individual.
Yeah, so the personal coaches, like for example, in there, they had Kunit Turopin, and the national team coaches, they all gather at the
Они
camp.
работают по общему плану,
And they gather at the camp, they have a big meeting, and they talk, you know, he say, like, what's your guy been doing for the last 2 months, you know? Or what's his program? Everything's written down. Everyone sees, you know, what has been doing, how many times he's been training. So the personal coaches give all this information to the head coach, and then he decides what program he's going to give to the whole team. You know, because some guys are more prepared than others. You know, someone was injured, someone was sick, whatever. So the whole coaching staff, and it's really big at the camps because every wrestler has their own personal coach that he, you know, trains with, lives with, basically in his own city. So
that's similar. That's similar to the United States.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times it's usually your college coach, that continues to work and is like your personal coach. You have our national team coach, but you also have your personal coach that usually sits with you. Like in our corner, like at the World Championships, you'll see one of our national team coaches, and then typically you'll see, like right now, that's Bill Zadek. You'll see like Bill Zadek, and then you'll see like Cale Sanderson in the corner or John Smith. So your personal coach is alongside, and they collaborate as well together. So there's some similarities there.
It's gotta be like this, yeah.
Now, as far as certain techniques go, as you're approaching and leaning into the World Championships, does your national team coach communicate to all university and personal coaches like these are certain techniques that we need to be focusing on, or is that up to the personal coach?
Вот когда идет, перед чемпионатом мира, допустим, идет сбор, главный тренер озвучивает, допустим, говорит, нужно там на это уделить внимание, на это, или вы вместе совещаетесь, говорите, давайте сегодня будем тренировку так, завтра так, как это происходит?
Есть четкая программа, она для всех.
Кто ее пишет? Он спрашивает.
Главный тренер пишет.
Okay, so the head coach writes.
Он отвечает за результат.
The whole training program for that camp.
Он отвечает за результат.
Because he's in charge of the final result. So if they get a bad result, he's going to be the guy that didn't do his work.
It's about 10 coaches there.
Yeah, so it's basically around 10 coaches usually there at the camp, but
they see together before
the program is written by one. The head coach writes the program. And then he proposes to everyone else.
Let's say, один чудак готов, приехал на сбор, просто готов. Если ему чуть-чуть дать больше, будет overtrain.
Yeah, so he said, for example, one guy comes to the camp and he's ready.
Let's say work very hard. He knows how to prepare. He come to team, he ready 100%. If you give him something more, it's will go
overtrain.
So kind of very careful with high performance there.
Yeah. So how did that conversation go a couple of years ago when Russia had a bad performance? How was that? Obviously, it probably wasn't received well, but how did you turn that around? Because you turned the page very quickly and ascended back up to
Говорит, как за год вы так поменяли? Тогда был провал на.
Смотрели, были ошибки подготовки. Федерация проанализировали все это.
So the Russian Federation gathered after that championships where they had no gold medals.
Это всегда происходит.
Yeah, they always gather. I mean, it doesn't matter if they do good or bad. But,
World Championships, Olympic Games.
They analyzed the mistakes. Analyzed the
mistakes. It's professional sport.
Yeah.
They agreed that the preparation was not good. Some mistakes were made during that preparation period, and they also analyzed that. Что там еще обсуждали?
Просто все думают, что еще у нас Soviet Union. Они думают, что у нас еще та команда, которая была. Уже немножко по-другому.
Yes, so the mentality, even now,
мы убивали всех раньше.
The coaches, the national team coaches, still think that, we still have that Soviet Union baggage with us, but it's going away because in Soviet Union they had a big team, top 5 guys could have beaten anyone.
Пришли молодые тренеры.
Now the coaching staff is new, young, and they still think that they still have that school from USSR, but it's not. It's totally different.
It's different now.
And
много ошибок наделали.
They tried to use their own new system, and they tried to use some of that, and it didn't work out. So
наделали много ошибок.
It was a mistake in preparation, new coaches, younger coaching staff.
У нас сейчас много тренеров старых, пожилых, закончили работу, очень много.
So was the coaching staff changed out after that?
Yes.
Yeah. Totally changed out.
And then old coaches, many old, very famous coaches, very experienced coaches, they retired.
Okay.
And now it's like new generation coming, new coaches. And they think, I'm smart enough to run national team. Like, that's what happened in Paris. It was shock for everybody. Shock results.
Yeah.
Он спрашивает, как они быстро так умудрились за год все перевернуть и в Будапеште.
Пересмотрели подготовку полностью. Пересмотрели.
He said that, like you said, how did they change this all in one year?
Change plan.
Just change the training.
Did they revert back to more of the traditional Soviet system of what had proven historically to be successful?
Нет, вот за год, как они почему за год? Они вернулись обратно к советской системе?
Во-первых, у нас много борется, скажи, в лигах в этих. Бундеслига, эта лига. перестали отпускать на эти соревнования.
Okay.
Вот как в хоккее. Отпускали, команда ослабла национальная. Потому что не играл. Малкин этот не играл, этот не играл.
Okay.
Вот сейчас опять все собрались.
So he says that in Russia, a lot of the wrestlers, they go out and they wrestle to different wrestling leagues.
For Iran,
So Germany, Iran,
Bundesliga, India.
And this
first
year,
guys.
Yeah, so basically this year they...
It's a good, they make money. How about national team?
Yeah.
So this year they started...
Sometimes they're not thinking
guys,
about the national flag. That's bad. You make money, but it's bad. Because you go like wrestle, let's say Bundesliga, get injured there. So second guy.
So is that how a lot of the, elite Russian athletes, is that how they make their money? They have to wrestle in wrestling leagues? Like over here now, there's more and more sponsorships.
American guys wrestle
there's actually at our training, a lot of our regional training centers. So post-collegiately in America now, we have what's called regional training centers. So if you're here in Columbus at Ohio State, they have a regional training center where it's not only you train at Ohio State for 4 years and then you stick around and you actually get paid to train at this regional training center. How do the elite Russian athletes, how are they able to fund their similar things?
Similar things, yes.
Нет, как они зарабатывают деньги? Почему они ездят туда?
Почему их приглашают? Это как бы престижно считается.
Но не из-за денег они туда едут, получается, или как?
Ну, где-то за денег, где-то престижно. Как бы это стало популярно. Никто их сейчас задерживать не может.
Yeah, so he says nowadays wrestlers are free, in Russia. They can do whatever they want. When they wrestled, it was not like that. You couldn't go and wrestle for a different club or,
Different country.
Different country. Now you can wrestle for a different country.
And then what is the thought about that? Because I read an article, when was it? A couple of days ago, about a couple of the Russian athletes going to different countries.
Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary.
Very good guy. He is from my club.
Oh, really?
He is very good, very talented. I'm surprised I let him go. It's like he can win Olympic Gold Medal.
And it's just their choice. They can...
Yeah, they choose. Like, no, we cannot stop it because before
United World
Wrestling,
UWW.
They make a rules. So 4 years you cannot wrestle. You can wrestle without permission federation first. Second, you cannot wrestle 4 years for a country if you change passport. But now you can go right away wrestle.
You get a new passport. You're good to go.
Next month. Like it's like freedom. You cannot stop anybody. That's the guy who moved to Hungary. He's very good.
So how does this work? Does it
But still, they have to get permission from Russian Wrestling Federation to go there.
Okay.
Yes, with permission only. Yeah, it's a rule.
I'm sure there's certain guys that the Russian Federation would say, just no, like Sadulaev. If Sadulaev said, I want to go to Italy, like Chamizo, I'm sure they would say.
Russian Federation, maybe, but who like if Sadulaev go now? Of course.
Спрашивают, что вряд ли они отпустят его, правильно? Если
конечно, permission надо, конечно.
Yeah, he'll ask for permission, but probably they won't let him go.
Это же правила не наши, это правила Международной Федерации.
He said, the rules changed. The UWW, they changed the rules. So instead of doing the 4 years, when you cannot change your citizenship, now it's like
you're immediately a citizen.
You're immediately, if you get a passport, you can wrestle.
Yeah, like I used to work on head coach in Belarus team, and when my time was there, it's like 3 years ago,
4 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't rules like this. So, like I got like maybe 25 guys from Russia, very good one. They said, we want to go wrestle for bills because конкуренция у нас очень сильная, никто не может.
Yeah, so a lot of Russian wrestlers approached him and said, hey, we want to wrestle for your Belarus team. Can you get us in there?
Потому что very difficult to make national team
in Russia.
To go to Olympic Games. Very difficult. But Olympic Games now, you can wrestle 2-3 matches and you got medal. I'm Olympic Games wrestle 8 matches.
Yeah. Now it's a 16-man bracket, most, right?
You wrestle like, как называется, wild card, 2 guys, and you один матч ты свободный, один выиграл, ты уже точно медаль.
Yeah.
Ты был один
So Anatoly, when you won your, so what you're saying, when you won your Olympic gold medal, it was similar to the World Championships that you had anybody could enter, and you had just a gauntlet of people to run through.
Ну,
Right.
что это когда ты боролся на чемпионате мира и Олимпиады, получается, любой мог заявиться и бороться, да? Не было такого отбора.
Конечно, я считаю, это так нужно делать.
He said yes, it was like that, and he agrees that it should
Почему
be like that now.
Почему я должен?
Everyone should compete. Any country should be able to compete.
Let's say
in the wrestling, World Championships or Olympics.
See, I think in America now, we view our impression is like the World Championships. Once the Soviet Union disbanded and broke up into different countries, it actually, from the American point of view, became much more difficult to win a world championship because we had to defeat so many different Soviet wrestlers.
Yeah.
Where
different former republics.
Right, different former republics.
Yeah, that's right. Because before national was much stronger than the World Championships or Olympic Games. Russian former.
Right.
Much stronger. It's like 15 republic, all different. Like we got 50 guys in the weight class, and maybe like 20 of them very close. So
and
I
think
national team was very tough.
Yeah, for us, and talking about, we haven't touched about Dave yet, and I wanted to start talking about Dave and maybe jump in a few other topics. Like that was one of that added to his mystique that he won Tbilisi, and he had to beat. We've only had a handful of guys ever win Tbilisi. I think it was 3. I think it's actually 3 because you had to defeat all the great Soviet wrestlers at one time in one tournament.
Big tournament.
Right.
Big tournament was, yeah. Пробиться в команду в то время было очень сложно. Очень сложно. И когда ты выиграл чемпионат СССР, ты себя ощущаешь как минимум чемпион Олимпийских игр, потому что там гораздо легче. Мне надо выиграть там одного японца, одного американца, скажем, лидеры, которых мы знаем. Это не 20-15 человек я должен выиграть.
Yeah, he said making a national team back then, USSR team was a lot, harder than winning a world championship because the guys are so close.
Right.
So basically what Dave did, going to Georgia and winning that tournament, that's a tough tournament to win. I mean,
У нас были случаи, посылали 3-х, 4-х на Олимпийские игры и выигрывали чемпионаты мира.
Said there's been they had even in Russia they had even the number 3 guy, 4 guy go to the World Championships and get a gold medal. Now it's impossible. Only the first guy goes.
Yeah.
Back then the coaches decided maybe we'll take the 4th guy.
So that was a selection process because there's always that conversation here in America about how the Russian team is actually selected. Is it more standardized now? The number 1 guy, he goes, where in the past it was more like, well,
I'm surprised,
more personal opinion.
I'm surprised, like wrestle up. Like let's say if I win national championship in Russia before, it's not guarantee I'm going to World Championships or Olympic Games. We get in a camp, last camp, let's say. They give you first after you champion national, they give you tournaments where you have to wrestle. If you say no, I'm sorry, you're not the number 1. You gotta go there. Like Tbilisi, it's selection for world team.
Yeah.
And another Medved Cup, Eurasian Cup, the big tournaments. You gotta wrestle there. But when the last camp, we got all together. Even if I win these tournaments, I'm not guaranteed still because some guys, like let's say in USA, like 3 months before World Championship, I make the team. I say, I can relax. Nobody can tell me I make the team. And he go to last camp. He is not ready at all. Bad condition. He's not practicing really.
Yeah.
Nobody controls. He is at home, for example. Come to the last camp. Coaches give him some sparring. Said this guy not ready. He is not ready in condition. So for these 2 weeks, he won't be ready. So start looking for another guys. Number 2, 3, wrestle up there in the camp.
Okay.
See that? It's happened very often. Will get injured. What's going to happen?
That's interesting because there's always been that discussion about how that actually happens. So it's neat to actually get some insight.
See, it's Russian. It's Russian easier. It's easy to select because we got like 3-4 guys like very close to each other. Let's say here, Dick, that guy, get injured, right?
Taylor.
Taylor just a couple of days ago just got injured. Right.
Who else?
we're in
So,
trouble at that way.
That's what I'm saying.
now. Yeah.
That's the guy who is like almost
That's what he's saying.
guaranteed.
Like, who's next?
Yeah,
If he,
almost
that guy's
guaranteed.
injured, who's going to be wrestling at the Worlds?
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Like we'll still have that. We have a process. Like if David's injured and he's our number one guy, he can file an extension. Like if he is injured, he can file an extension. Like his wrestle off could be pushed off for a couple months.
Still wrestle off.
Yeah, but he can still wrestle off. Yeah, it's not just okay. He's
What's
not
gonna
ready.
happen?
So,
He's not will be ready for wrestle off. So who next? Second guy?
yeah, second.
Yeah,
guy.
but second guy.
Yeah, that guy will. Yeah, there'll still be
His
a
first time
qualifying.
wrestle world championship. It's not guaranteed he will win gold medal, right? But
Yeah.
if they wrestle, it's probably
Taylor.
Taylor.
If Taylor wrestle, it's probably very high chance, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
what
what I'm
we
saying.
think.
It's
Right.
gonna be Russian former team. Like we got like 5-6 guys who like stay behind each other. Just give me the chance.
Yeah.
They're looking
Just
forward.
begging for the opportunity, right?
Looking forward. But now, not like this. It's different. Now it's changed.
Yeah.
For separate republics, team can got smaller and not.
So there's not the depth that there used to be.
Нет такого, да, состава длинного теперь, да?
Нет, конечно.
Сколько
Да.
сейчас
Потому
в
что-
каждом весе? 1-2?
Они есть, но не такие сильные, как бы не так close each other, понимаешь? Они есть.
Yeah, it's just
Вторые номера есть,
They
третьи.
do have, competition between
Ну,
the
это-
second guy, third guy, and one.
Let's say,
But
like,
it's not as it used to be back in the
For-
USSR.
for
when they
example-
had 5-6
Right.
guys, same
For-
level.
for example, Sadulaev. Nobody behind, really. You got guys, but not that strong. Who, like,
Yeah, it's similar. It's similar to our athlete Kyle Snyder.
А вот сейчас,
Yeah.
смотри, сейчас Гацалов вернется, sorry, я интеррупте. Гацалов вернется сейчас, раз, 97. Потом кто еще второй борется у нас?
Где? Бойцаев?
Бойцаев, ну нет, за другие республики, Гацалов за Армению вернется, а потом еще у нас тут, кто составит ему. 2-3
Не знаю.
вернутся. Гацалов come back now. Gazalov for a different country, for Armenia.
Yes.
Gonna wrestle Olympics.
Yep.
But it's very experienced guy. It will be very interesting match with the Sadulaev.
So some
So-
Russian guys are now changing passports.
Yeah.
Recently, Gatsalov. And there's other Russian guys that are planning too, maybe for Hungary also. And they're gonna challenge Sadulaev
Yeah.
at the World Championships, Olympics.
So what was that discussion like a couple years ago when Snyder beat Sadulaev? Because I know what the narrative was over here, and the discussion was here in America, because he hadn't been beat for forever. What was the discussion back in Russia
So что говорили
when
про-
Kyle actually beat
Что
Sadulaev?
говорили про проигрыш в Садулаева на чемпионате мира в Париже? Что говорили в России? Что произошло? То, что до этого Садулаев не проигрывал очень
Ну,
много.
молодой еще Sadulaev. Он еще молодой.
Что
он
говорили
наперед.
тренера, эксперты, что
Говорили, Sadulaev сам хотел бороться, хотел отыграться. Что тут говорить? Надо тренироваться и работать. Что тут говорить?
said, what the coaches said. You gotta practice more. Gotta compete more. Not
Take
to
your
make-
shoes and go to wrestling group.
Take your
What
shoes
is-
and go to the wrestling room. That's
Very
the
simple.
talk. No one
Work harder, right? Work harder.
Yeah, no one really discussed. Everyone has losses, but that was the only discussion.
Ну, сейчас
Take your
надо...
shoes and go to the wrestling room.
Сейчас вы Снайдера хорошо изучили уже все.
So now he says a lot of wrestlers have studied Kyle Snyder and
For
Sadulaev.
example,
Very good,
for
because-
example, Красноярск tournament.
Yeah, in Krasnoyarsk,
Yes.
tough loss, and
So-
just everything's so open
The
now.
guy he lost, the guy who
People
is...
watch,
there's nobody.
YouTube matches.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like it's
Yeah.
even
Не,
we-
I'm sorry, на том уровне надо все время добавлять, все время, иначе...
He says when you're on that top level, you have to always keep going up
Right.
in
Yeah,
order to be winning.
technically, physically, you gotta go.
Always going up.
Yeah, and I think in this age of technology, it used to be, you could get footage of other American wrestlers if you want, but footage of international wrestlers, the only time you actually got to study them is when you saw them in competition. And now with the internet and everything, you can study.
Yeah.
You can study them all the time. You can break down Sadulaev, get Soliver, all these.
So, like you said, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, RUDIS or Nike or Tiger, but you gotta get the skills.
right.
Very simple one. The shoes doesn't help you.
No.
No,
All
Allah
they make you do is look pretty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
looks pretty, which is good one.
Yeah.
Yes, lots of different things goes on now. So, like you said,
You know, so we're excited, you know, even though Kyle got beat last year, we're excited. Like this is, I think, because in the past it wasn't easy to talk about a rivalry, you know, around the world. You know, now I think that's a very, very good thing that we can have that discussion. The discussion in America can be heard in Russia, and the discussions that are going on in Russia about this are being heard in America. And I think we view it as a very good thing and a very exciting thing for the sport. I don't know what you
Как в
guys
России
feel about
смотрят,
that.
что теперь вот так все близко. Это они считают это хорошо. Им интересно.
отлично.
This
Это
is very positive.
сумасшедший
This
промоушен.
is very good promotion for wrestling. And
Люди-
Russia also people think it very positive.
Люди ждут матча Sadulaev, Snyder.
Everyone
Ждут
waits
уже.
for those matches.
Все смотрят, все
Sadulaev
смотрят.
versus
Это
Snyder.
здорово. Это
Um,
когда забывают спорт, забывают. На первом, на медиа, как смотришь, только на медиа, бейсбол и баскетбол. Nothing else.
yeah, he says too bad in here. You know, we turn on TV, it's always baseball and basketball on. You know, not much wrestling. I mean,
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Люди ждут, у нас популярна борьба очень. Люди ждут Снайдера с этим, ждут там других матчей,
Yeah,
которые...
so people wait for those
Интересно.
matches in Russia, and it only popularizes the
Он
sport.
видел,
You know?
Yeah, I mean, we're
что было в Венгрии, как заполнили был трибуны, заполнили. Я такой тебя давно не видел.
He said in Hungary, you know, if you saw that the whole stadium was almost
Full.
full of you know, full of
I
people.
didn't see for a
And
long
he said
time.
he hasn't
like
seen
this.
that for a
electric.
long
Yeah,
time.
for
Yeah.
a long
The
time.
crowd is, you know, a lot of people are now coming to wrestling just to watch it
Everybody-
live.
yeah, I mean, we're hoping that matchup happens again this year in Russia.
Yeah, but in
Yeah.
USA I got very good team. Мы должны признать это. Хорошая
He said
команда.
that, yeah, he says I'd have to agree that US has a very, you know, good team
Very good
now,
team.
very
Вот
strong team,
На перспективу Olympic
Very-
Games они хорошие.
very
ребята.
good team for
Все
the Olympic
молодые.
Games. Young guys coming in. So he
Все,
said US is, you know, becoming a really, really good, tough team.
хорошая команда. Надо всем готовиться.
And they said that all world teams have to prepare for wrestling against US guys, because US is in the top team, you know, top two teams in the world, Russia, US, and
Iran.
Ну, там Иран, Куба, там сам гайс, Индия, сам гайс.
But-
Сейчас конкуренция хорошая в мире. Очень хорошая конкуренция. Я думаю, что
So
олимпийские.
yeah, it's very good that so many teams, you know, can show a good result, and US has done that better than everyone else the last couple
Yeah, I
of years.
think when there's, because a couple of days ago we had that big event in New York City, and
Business boys.
Beat the streets.
Bajran was in there,
Industry story.
the individual from India. I think that's a great thing when you have
Yeah.
when there's talent from around the world, not just segmented in like Russia, America, Iran. When you're seeing good talent from different countries, I think it's good for the entire sport, right?
Yeah, of course,
And
of
there's
course.
more eyes on it.
Yeah.
There's more discussion about it. There's more visibility, and that's a really good thing.
Very good
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
То хорошо, что разные развиваются
Конечно,
регионы.
конечно. Yeah,
Yeah, he
agree,
agrees.
agree.
He agrees. Yeah, different regions around the world have wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, and on an individual basis, you know, I know we would love to see Snyder and Sadulaev in the World Finals again, and the story that would carry over into Tokyo into 2020. That could be one of the biggest storylines which would be fantastic for the sport of
Yeah.
wrestling. That this is a story that the entire Olympic Games could be talking about, like another rematch, like
Sure.
part 4 at that time, or
Sure. Yeah. Part 4. How many times have they wrestled?
it's been twice now.
Twice.
Yeah,
Okay. So one each.
one each.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they need another match.
They need another. Hopefully, and they're so young too. I mean, hopefully it could be 10 years of this. I don't know what the
Maybe.
discussion is. I know Kyle's plans are to wrestle for, you know,
Forever.
for forever, as long as he can.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
20
discussion is
How
with.
old is he?
He's 23, 23,
It's very young.
23.
He's very
Sadulaev's
young.
22.
Sadulaev's 23. He had
Or
his birthday
23 just
yesterday,
had-
actually.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yesterday.
Happy
yeah.
birthday from America.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. So is the discussion is does he plan on wrestling for a long time? I hope he does.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says
Молодой.
yes. He's
Он
young.
любит рестлинг.
He likes
Он
wrestling.
работает, он
And he
тренируется.
works hard, so he probably
hard.
will stay around for a while.
You wanna make another Olympic Games for sure.
He wants to win another Olympic Games and maybe win another.
One or
Have
two.
3.
Yeah, he'd still be young.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly 3, right?
3 может он выиграть. Maybe.
Если как здоровье будет.
He said he probably could win 3. Depends on the health. No injuries. Injuries also.
We hope he doesn't win 3. It's about
That's what we say about Snyder in Russia.
Right,
We hope he doesn't win 3.
like we respect Sadulaev and we appreciate his abilities, but we just hope the other guy.
А вот
The
смотри,
other
вот
guy.
I feel there's a rivalry between us. You know?
как этот парень нас когда за Венгрию бороться? Как его борется? Сейчас.
Бигбулатов или кого?
Нет. Ну, который за Венгрию сейчас борется. Вот посмотришь, он Олимпиаду может выиграть.
He said
Yeah,
the guy
yeah.
that just went to wrestle for the Hungary team, the
Mhm.
Russian guy.
That's the guy.
They just
My dad says he has a big potential of winning
I am saying,
Olympic Games.
because I know him very good.
what weight?
65.
65.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says big
He
potential.
can beat everybody. He's very talented. He a little bit
And he
lazy, but he's very talented. if you work like properly now, like he's still young. He's only 23 too, or 24.
well, it's good to hear that you have the same problems. Talented guys that are lazy. We had the same problem here
Yeah,
all the
it's
time. We had that
everywhere.
discussion,
It's
right?
everywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't change no matter what the culture of the country, right?
Yeah.
I did want to shift gears, and we've been talking for a long period of time. This has been really, really enjoyable for me. But one of the reasons why you're here is the relationship that you developed with Dave decades ago, and that relationship, even though he's gone and he's no longer with us, there's still a strong connection and friendship and almost a family relationship with his wife Nancy, and
Yeah.
she was the one that helped bring you over here. So I'd like to talk a little bit about your relationship with Dave, where it started, and just to open up with that. Yeah,
Long time ago, like you said, decade. But Dave was very friendly guy. All guys from Russian team just love him because sometimes he just come to Russia by himself for practice and like live like months and months in Moscow, stay various place on practice in Moscow, move to Minsk, practice there. We got a camp there. He stay with us. Like, he was very friendly guy, and he knows that Russian system better than everybody else. How to practice there. We got lots of moves there, and he was very good, very friendly.
Где вы
We come in
познакомились,
here.
спрашиваю?
First time I saw him, he was really young. Some tournaments here. I don't remember even. Michigan, he wrestled there. Folk style. I went with Canadian team. And he wrestled there.
He made him... Нет, уже.
Я боролся, да, здесь.
He
Боролся.
wrestled,
World Cup,
my dad
probably.
wrestled
World Cup.
World
probably.
Cup really young, and Dave wrestled at the World Cup that year, so they met really, really young.
was that in Toledo,
Toledo или
or at
где-то?
that time was that in the
Long
late
time
70s? Would it be in the late 70s, the World Cups you're talking about?
В конце
Late
70-х,
70s,
да,
yeah,
наверное, в конце? Yeah, probably late
yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember really, but he
That's
said he
very
met
young,
him here in
skinny.
US for sure.
Oh, the first time you met Dave was here in the
in
United
US.
States.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after many times we've been in Russia, we came here, so met Nancy. I remember his son like this small. He bring him to the
Xander.
St. Petersburg,
Alexander.
Alexander.
Yeah.
He brings. See, I hold him like this. I got a picture. He like this small baby. Nancy come with him to St. Petersburg dual meet, and David wrestled there, and we talk each other. The first time I met Nancy there, long time.
So as a competitor, with the Russians and the former Soviet wrestlers, he was beloved for his personality, but he was also respected for his wrestling ability.
Yeah.
Well,
he was good.
how was he described, or how was he talked about as a wrestler on the mat?
Что о нем говорили в России, в СССР, когда он боролся на ковре?
Вид такой у него обманчивый был всегда. Ходил так, как это.
He said that all the Russians always thought he's like very sneaky guy. He
Ну как
walked
он,
funny.
есть же майка,
Yeah.
Рудис, есть же майка.
It's the RUDIS t-shirt.
Хитрый
It
лис.
says Sly Fox.
Sly Fox.
Хитрый лис. Exactly. That's what he says. That's what they called him. Like,
И они,
хитрый лис.
он когда боролся, выходит так, вроде как ничего не хочет делать. Ну как вцепится, как удав.
He said when he walked out, when he was walking
Looks
towards
like-
the mat, it looks like he doesn't want to do anything. It's just No, he's just there for no reason. But
But
when he
the
walked on
wrestle
the
for
mat,
every position.
but when he wrestled, he wrestled for many positions.
Very tough.
Very tough, and it was totally opposite to what was when he was walking towards the mat and him on the mat.
Because he was fierce. I mean, not only was he technically skilled, he had a high level. His technical ability was one of the best in the world, but he was also a fierce warrior, like
Да.
brutal
У него
competitor,
не было,
right?
мандража не было. Он такой был, вот так смотрит, он что до схватки, что после схватки, он одинаково, что во время схватки. У него нет такого, по лицу ничего не видно у
Yeah,
него.
my dad says you couldn't read on his face if he's scared, if he's nervous. It's always it's always the same face, and it's really hard to understand if this guy's nervous or scared or what's he gonna do. So he's always before the match, after the match, it's always the same face on Dave. So, but the Russians couldn't figure that out.
Yeah. So how did you
do you do it?
actually try and prepare for him then? When it was so hard to dissect and break down.
Как готовиться было на Дэйва, если у него у него такое выражение лица, что
он так специально, он расслаблял людей, специально так делал.
Как готовились на него?
Ну, знали уже его, он будет бороться все равно до конца,
So
все знали.
he said that for the first time
Все
when he
это
came,
обманчиво.
no one really knew, and it was really hard to prepare. But after, people started studying him and seeing how he behaves, and they knew that when he comes out on the mat, he's gonna wrestle. And the Russians already knew that his walk and his mentality, it's just off the mat. When he's on the mat, he's a totally different wrestling.
Он еще чувствительный был очень. У него такого не было, мазался такого.
Yeah, my dad said he was a
очень
very
чувствительный.
sensitive wrestler. If he
Sensitive.
felt a lot of positions that people may be uncomfortable in, Dave felt them,
Вот-
really good.
Вот посмотри на Сайтиева, вот такой же. Вот Сайтиев,
Like Saitiev, he said.
if you look Saitiev, it's a very ordinary person.
Yeah,
No
no
Yeah, because
muscles,
Satiev and
but
Dave,
he is like a snake.
right?
Dave like him.
Yeah.
He's like a snake.
In those
Anybody-
positions, yeah.
He like fish in the water. Anything happen. Dave the same. Dave the
Yeah,
same.
because he didn't have like Satiev. Satiev. We wouldn't describe him as like this amazing athlete. Like Sadulaev is just his athletic
Power,
ability,
yeah.
his skill, and his
Yeah.
looks, everything. It just jumps
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Dave
yeah,
was
yeah.
he
Dave
wasn't
такой.
really athletic, but he had such a beautiful mind for the sport,
Он
right?
очень много работал над техникой. Вот у нас там был, когда он очень много разбирал, он интересовался очень много. Другие потренировались и ушли. А он остается, с кем-то там разбирает в зале.
He said that he worked a lot. Dave worked a lot on technique, and that was his main factor. So when he wrestled in Russia at the camps, he trained there. He looked at technique. He studied technique, and then
И стали.
after practice, when everyone leaves, he still stays and he does that technique. He studies it and studies it.
Кто-то с ним останется, отрабатывает.
So
там,
someone stays after practice with him, and he starts, drilling with that guy, even when the practice is over. Everyone's gone. So he really studied technique. It wasn't about power, mostly about technique and studying it. And he studied the Russians, a lot.
Now, did you guys, conversely, on the flip side of that, did you study Dave and learn from him as well?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Все талантливые борцы, что-то у них можно взять. Все, вот возьми. Там, я учился у Сайтиева, там Сайтиев учился у меня. Мы все друг у друга
So
что-то
he said
берем.
all talented wrestlers, top level, they all study different wrestlers, other that are talented. So of course, people studied Dave, took something from him.
Почему не взять что-то
My
хорошее?
dad said when he wrestled, he used to take something from other talented wrestlers. Saitiev used to watch their videos and take something from him. So it's
normal.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah, it's just like your wrestler in Hungary. Very similar characteristics. This successful guys outwork, no matter how talented they are or not talented, they have a similar work ethic, right? And that's no different than in America or Russia or wherever they choose to go. Those guys that when the lights go out, those guys are still in the gym, right? They're still studying, they're still practicing, and that's a common thing. Like with Sadulaev, they said, get back in the gym, right?
Yeah.
That's why Dave was able to do, and that's why you were able to accomplish what you did. You established a work ethic in addition to your abilities that was probably exceeded most other people in the world, right?
Sadulaev тоже, когда проиграл Снайдеру, говорили, когда все он сам говорит, места себе не нахожу, не знаю, даже ночью готов тренироваться.
Yeah, he said when Sadulaev lost to Snyder, he was really upset, and he was talking to coaches and said, I can't find my place. I'm it's just so upset.
Столько у него болельщиков сейчас.
So
Люди ездят за ним,
so
смотрят.
he said there's so many fans that were expecting him to win. People, there's so many people behind him that really wanted to
Ответственность
win.
большая,
He
ответственность.
says it was really hard on him for the first couple of months. He just couldn't find himself. He's like a little bit lost, and so it's a lot of pressure. Same probably on Kyle. So many people behind him. A lot of pressure. Every loss, I guess it's hard.
Yeah, because I think like here, when you see a guy like Snyder and our wrestling community sees this young guy that wins two world titles and then the Olympics back to back to back, they think he's untouchable, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they elevate him to a plane like where Sadulaev was. Like he
Yeah.
was elevated, I'm sure, in the minds of the Russian community, this person was untouchable. And that's the way we thought of Kyle. I remember before the World Finals, our company was watching. Our whole company, Jesse was over watching him, but our company was around watching the finals, and people just assumed like Kyle was going to win. And I almost had to prep the company. I was like, look, this guy, he's wrestling Sadulaev. Like everything you think of Kyle, everybody in Russia thinks of him the same way, that he's this impenetrable force, that's an untouchable force. And so when, in hindsight, you can kind of laugh or smile about it, but we had people in tears when Kyle lost a year ago. We had people had to leave the building, and I'm sure there was similar feelings in Russia.
In Russia the same way.
Same
People
thing, yeah.
were in tears
Same
when
thing, because
Sadulaev lost to Snyder. Same thing.
даже когда мой тренер говорил нам всегда, чемпионат мира прошел, все, забудь. Забудь и начинай все с нуля.
Said that when they wrestled, their coach told them, you won the world championships, next day, everything you start again from zero.
Forget
It's
about
over.
it.
Forget about
Yeah.
that.
That's it. Like вот это Рома Власов, сейчас, парень молодой, 2 Олимпиады выиграл, столько чемпионата мира. Он тоже самое сказал, мы с ним разговаривали, он мне тоже самое сказал, говорит, мой тренер говорит, забудь, иначе все.
Yeah, so now he just talked recently to Roman Beleglazov. He's a Greco-Roman
World champion 2 times,
Yes.
friend of mine.
Olympic champion.
Yeah, okay.
I talked
Young
to him
guy.
and said, Roma, forget about. His coach said to him same thing. Forget next day. Forget about this world championship. It's past. That's it. Start prepare again for.
Yeah, and I think that's what all the great ones do, right? It's not about the medal. It's not about the medal, Roger. It's about the journey you're on, right? And once you get to that journey, then you start a new journey. And the great ones that are able to, replicate that success year over year are able to recenter themselves and get excited about the next journey, right?
Не, я иногда, когда помню выиграл чемпионат мира, и думаю, все так прыгают там до потолка. Я думаю, а что я должен? Я столько сделал для этого, что я просто не мог проиграть. Невозможно было выиграть.
Yeah, he said when he won his world championships, his first world championship, he said some wrestlers, they jump, and they smile and they laugh and they're so happy. He said,
Crazy.
He said, I was happy, but I did so much work to get there.
Я даже не могу представить, что кто-то больше
He
меня
said, I
делал.
couldn't even imagine that someone, could beat me there. I mean, it's not because it was so
Сколько
good,
я сделал,
just so
блядь.
much, how much I did to get there to that, gold medal. And he said, I was happy inside. Maybe I didn't show it, to everyone, but I did so much work that,
Не жалел себя ни в чем. Вес, ни в чем не жалел. Думаю, кто может это сделать?
He said,
Если кто-то это сделает, то, наверное, да, он будет чемпион. Так потом.
he said that I cut so much weight that time, and I trained so hard. He said if someone could have beaten me,
Первый пожму ему руку.
he said I would be the first one to shake his hand. But I was so prepared, I did so much work that that medal should have been mine, and it was.
Сколько нам тренер говорил, мы делали в 3 раза больше.
He said the coach gave us things to do on the mat. We do 3 times more because we wanted that medal so much.
Он только нам говорил, стоп.
And he's always stopping. He said, hey, stop doing that. You guys are doing too much. And he said, we just want to, do something more, 3 times more. So
Я в 79 году перетренировался на чемпионате мира. Единственный, кто я не выиграл медаль. В 79 году в Сан-Диего. Всей команды, скажи.
So in 1979, he went to San Diego and he lost because he overtrained.
One guy, it's me, without medal.
Without
in
medal.
a team.
All the other guys
One.
got medals, and he didn't medal.
See, I was wondering. I was
Because
reading about your
overtrained. I was overtrained. I thought national finished just 2 weeks before World Championships. We get in the camp, and I still practicing like crazy, and overtrained. My coach wasn't there, and I overtrained.
So you needed your coach to
That's why I said
pull the reins and hold you
back.
back.
Coach was there.
Yeah.
He said, because he looked at me, if I try to make me wrestle like life matches, make mistakes. He said, stop. That's it.
So then turning around, going into 1980 then, did you had to earn back the trust and the faith of the Soviet coaching staff? Like, how did they view you? Like, after 79, when you didn't place, because you had won in 77, 78, you didn't place in 79. Did you have to earn back their faith or trust leading up to the Moscow games?
Как ты обратно, вот ты проиграл в 79, 77-м ты выиграл, в 78-м выиграл, в 79-м ты проиграл, тебе пришлось опять доверие тренеров завоевывать.
From scratch. I start from scratch.
From scratch.
So, got to wrestle every competition to prove I am the number one. That's it. Everybody сказали, that's it. Anatoly.
Everyone said, that's it, he's done.
Yeah, he's done this weight class because I got weight. I said, oh, he's not going to wrestle this weight class. And I said, no, guys, I got to prove. It's just mistake. My mistake was in the camp, last camp. Overtrain. After that, take a break for a while.
So did you learn that? Was that the tipping point where you learned how yourself, you didn't need your coaches, you learned how to listen to your body yourself in your training and learn from your training?
To my body, and after work with the coach too, like we analyzed what's happening and how it's happening, why. So we start начали дозировать нагрузки немножко по-другому. Вы смотрели, вот именно в тот camp.
They changed so the next season they changed a little bit the preparations with his coach. They talked and said,
все нормально,
need you change this, change that, make sure he feels better before those big starts.
So I know it's similar, like as you grow, as you grew in your competition and your acumen and your accomplishments, did you more collaborate, work together with your coach to formulate your training system, or did you always continue to rely on your coach to lay everything out for you?
Когда вы тренировались с Сергеем, вы всегда с тренером обсуждали тренировки, как тренировочный процесс,
всегда,
или
всегда.
Больше надеялись чисто на него, или как?
Нет, мы всегда обсуждали.
Yeah,
всегда.
always with the coach,
всегда.
Together. They sat down, they talked, they write things down, so it's always together. Not only the coach gives them the program, him and Sergey always, contacted with the coach.
У нас очень хорошие отношения.
So they had very good, friendly,
у
нас
никогда
relationship.
Up to now, у нас никогда не было
up
проблем.
to now, it's still the same way. So
у нас никогда не было проблем.
Never had any problems, and it's been like that.
Because
years.
Sometimes guys change the coaches,
Right.
Stays with one coach for 5 years, change coach for another 5. Like for us, it's like it's предательство.
Yeah, for them, it was if they changed, to another coach, it could have been like betraying their coach. So
right,
for them, it's not normal.
В то время
one
было.
Coach and that's it.
Well, you see a lot of times, like a lot of times, it's not just in wrestling, but it's all sports. Like the experience you had in 1979, you see it in sports. People fall short of their goals, and all of a sudden they don't want to point the finger at them. They're like, "That's my coach's fault. I need to change," And
Бывает, что провал есть, он сразу говорит, надо тренера менять, как сейчас в спорте часто бывает.
Бывает и так. Но надо смотреть. Бывает и так, конечно, когда бывает, что делают ошибки.
Yeah, he says in some situations, some sports, it does happen. And maybe a change of coach can be good, sometimes. But in his situation, when he overtrained, it was just his personal mistake.
Нам предлагали столько тренеров нас тренировать, скажи, очень много.
During their career, a lot of offers were made.
Very famous one.
Very famous coaches wanted to coach them. He's not going to, say names, of course.
Сказали, thank you.
But they always, said no, thank you. And, we have our own coach.
Он с нами столько времени прожил, и взять и ставить его, он должен начинать с нуля. Такие, как мы, так уж
Yeah,
много.
he said that we started from scratch together with the coach, and we lived together everywhere. We followed the coach everywhere he worked, and betraying him at
Он с
one
нами
point or another, it was just impossible because they understand. Even the coach does not have
Скажи,
that
этически это.
many Olympic World Championships with him. There's not many coaches that can have that many good wrestlers. So he never betrayed them, and they never betrayed him.
Он нам как отец был, скажи.
He was like a father to them.
Как мы можем предать?
And I think by and large, I mean, that's one of the great characteristics that the sport of wrestling teaches by and large is that sense of loyalty. When you sacrifice and you're sacrificing and bleeding and training every day with a coach and a certain group of athletes, there's something that teaches you, that is hard to give up, that you don't want to turn your back on that, right? And I think that's one of the beauties and one of the most beautiful parts of the sport is the loyalty that it teaches you, through sacrifice, years of sacrifice together, right?
Конечно, of course. Like respect. It's respect. First
Right.
of all, it's respect. Respect to the coach, because he's bring you like young kid, start teach you. Because sometimes win first competition. Oh, I'm the god, so coach, you don't need me anymore. I can do everything. Right? It's like everybody goes through this, but in Russia that time it was very respected person in the room. So it's got to be something happen very bad you leave your coach in Russia. Because, во-первых, это было стыдно очень. Кто тебя нашел, поднял тебя, отвернуться от него. У нас это вообще не приветствовалось. И другие тренеры могли от тебя отвернуться из-за этого.
He said back then when they wrestled, losing your coach or going away from your coach, it was embarrassing. So if you did that, something really bad must have happened. And sometimes when you leave your coach, you try to go to another one.
Другие могли сказать,
That coach said, "Hey, you left him. I'm not going to take you." So it was embarrassment.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't do that.
это сейчас они change.
Now
Раньше
it says they can change.
it was very embarrassing situation.
Yeah. It's not embarrassing anymore to change a coach.
He was nobody help you out. You said, "Oh, I'm the big shot, so we don't need me anymore."
And that kind of speaks to Sadulaev's character. He still has the same coach, right?
Yeah.
So from a very young age when he started, is still at the same. Is that rare now in Russia?
Это редко сейчас или все-таки?
You said it's more common now that
In
people
that
change.
area where Sadulaev from, it's very, very, very rare.
Yeah, from that area where Sadulaev is
Dagestan,
from,
yeah.
Dagestan, they don't.
It's traditionally
Tradition. They stick with their coach.
Traditionally,
Traditionally normal.
And they make mistake together, but they stays together. Like it's part of the game.
Yeah.
So kind of.
Well,
For
guys,
me, it's very embarrassing when guys leave the coach. Like, we can, что-нибудь случилось, можно сесть поговорить. Так махнуть рукой и уйти это.
If anything happens, you can always sit down and talk. You don't leave your coach. There's always room for conversation. You can always talk and
for sure.
Solve the problems together, and not just change your coach and go to another one.
Especially, когда в одном зале тренируются, там 5-6 тренеров в одно время тренируются, и тот приходит, от которого ты отвернулся, как там тренироваться? Там уже не атмосфера.
Yeah, so we said, like at training camps, there's always 5-6 coaches on the mat, and for example, if you betrayed your coach, you left him, he's going to be at the training camp anyway, next time. And how are you going to look?
Yeah,
it's not.
Feel bad.
You feel bad. He feels not too good.
He feels bad. You feels bad.
Uncomfortable situation between you guys. Plus,
это 100% ляжет на твою подготовку в негативном плане.
Plus, it will be a very negative on your preparation towards your next tournament.
Sure.
Because you're on the same training camp, but you're not talking to your coach, so it's going to be very bad on your preparation for sure.
Well, guys, selfishly, I could talk to you for another 4 hours, but I know there's a lot of things that we need to achieve.
Sure.
I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to sit down and talk with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
It's a great thrill for me.
Good.
From you and your brother. I grew up knowing about you and admiring you and learning about you, and to actually sit down and have a discussion has been just an immense thrill for me. I can't thank you enough, but I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, sir.
maybe next time we do this in Russia. Maybe if
Sure.
we're going to the World
Yeah,
Championships,
Why not?
we stop by.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anytime.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.